I'd like to call the meeting to order and welcome all those in attendance and those live streaming. We do have a full council here today, as well as our town manager, Cliff Gravier, our town assistant town manager, Terry Tiemann, our town clerk, Renee Menominee, and our IT director, Will Wharton. Let us please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, council, approval of the agenda. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Approval of the minutes of the public meeting, public hearing held July 18th, 2025. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Those in favor? Aye. Approval of the minutes of our regular meeting held July 18th, 2025.
So
Do we
moved.
have a motion?
So moved. Sorry.
Thank you. Any discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Approval
of the financial report. Mrs. Keel.
Thank you, Mayor. This report covers the budget through July 31st, 2025. We are 33% through fiscal year 2026. We've collected 53.8% of our revenue for the year compared to 54.2% last year. We've expended 36.6% of our expense budget compared to 37.2% last year. Recognizing that this report is subject to audit, I move that the council approve this unaudited report.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
There's no discussion, I assume.
No.
Okay. Okay, announcements, recognition of visitors.
The tax approval. Tax adjustment list.
We've already done that, so I don't think we need to do
Oh, we didn't do it? The tax adjustment list?
it. We approved it at the last meeting.
Oh, okay, the last meeting.
Yeah. So we're square on that.
We didn't, we never got it.
We got one.
I didn't get
Is
it.
there additions?
This is the first one, not, this is supposed to be list two.
Do we have something we need to talk about?
Be list two.
Patrick, is there anything we need to talk about?
I mean, I'm just going by what the agenda says, where we should have a list
Right.
number two of the tax adjustment
That's what I
list.
was saying.
I don't have a number
If
two.
you got one.
Yeah,
We
one.
do, yeah, we do have it.
List number one, unless it's mismarked.
It might be mismarked. I think they're new adjustments.
Does the list two begin with cram? You know?
Finance for sure.
The only reason I'm thinking this might be the list two is one of my neighbors is on here with a new house. And I don't think they were on the first one.
Okay.
Okay.
I guess you can postpone it
I think
until.
Why don't we table it till next month?
Table it
Till
till
our,
next month.
till our October meeting.
Okay. Table till next month.
Or the October.
Okay, moving on to announcements and recognition of visitors. I am going to touch base on visitors, but within some of the announcements. As I'm sure all of you are aware by now, there will be no council election this year, Saturday, the Saturday after Labor Day. There are 3 candidates who filed for 3 positions on council, 2 incumbents, Jerry Morris and Teresa Keel, and 1 new candidate, Mark Tanowitz, who has been on our Budget and Finance Committee for several years, and hopefully will continue to serve on it. Thank you, all 3 of you, for your service, and look forward to the coming year. Our busy summer still has a few more weeks before we progress into our active fall season. It has certainly been successful with lots of happy visitors in town and crowded beaches. Unfortunately, we do not have the large beach we'd like to see, But fortunately, we also have a proactive Secretary of DENREC who understands the economic and environmental importance of Delaware's coastal regions and beaches. He's been very responsive to us so far relative to our proposed flood preventing dam. And that project we feel is back on track and in good shape. We will see what DENREC and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers can do for Bethany to help with the beaches. Patrick, I'm going to turn this over to you for a few words about our incredible lifeguards.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, council, residents, guests, and those thousands watching at home. This report has become an annual update on the current state of our lifeguard team that I am very proud to present. There is a handout in the back of the room on the table where you came in that has some good information about the lifeguards this year, some of which I'll go over in my report, but some of which I won't. Cue. There's a photo of our lifeguards. Oh, wait, no, that's the wrong photo, Will. There we go. There's our lifeguard team this year. This summer, we've been fully staffed with 76 lifeguards, the most ever. Full team is made up of 63 men and 13 women. The guards are led by one captain, who is Joe Donnelly, and Joe has, 33 years of experience. Started when he was 3. Under Joe, he has 5 lieutenants: Matt Farlow, Mark Banks, Patrick Burns, Brendan Regan, and Ben Weiss. The average experience of those 5 lieutenants is over 18 years. There are 4 crew chiefs: Nick Heald, Ryan Smith, Justin Kidwell, and Jonathan Core. The average experience of those 4 guards is over 10 years. And we have 2 junior lifeguard instructors, Matt Lewis and Georgia Spire, and their average experience is over 7 years. We have some experienced lifeguards that I will get into a little bit later, not too late. Here are some facts about our guards that I think are interesting and impressive. We have 9 sets of siblings on the guards, 6 sets of 2 siblings, and 3 sets of 3 siblings. We have 2 married couples and 1 couple that is engaged. We have 8 legacy guards, guards that had a parent also serve as a lifeguard. And we have 1 parent-child combination. That is Captain Donnelly and 3 of his sons, Jackson, Cole, and Cade. By the way, Cade just finished his first year at West Point. Pretty impressive. I'll get back to the captain and Jackson in a minute. As to our guards' overall experience, we have 22 guards that have between 5 and 10 years of experience. We have 10 guards with 11 to 15 years of experience. We have 1 with 16 to 20 years of experience, and we have 4 that have over 20 years of experience. Half of our guards have 5 years or more of experience. I think that tells you something about our whole program. Our outstanding guards competed in 2 competition events this summer. The first was our annual Bethany competition in July, where we competed against 12 other local teams from Lewis all the way down to Ocean City. I'm pleased to report that we successfully defended our home, sand, and surf to capture first place. The second competition was just held last week. The United States Life-Saving Association holds the National Lifeguard Championship annually. This year's competition was held in Huntington Beach, California, and included 33 teams and over 1,000 competitors from across the country. Bethany Beach belongs to the Sussex County Life-Saving Association, which sent a total of 87 lifeguards to compete. 13 of our guards were included on that team. Last year, not last week, but last year, the Sussex County team finished first for the first time in the competition's history. In fact, no chapter outside of New Jersey or California had ever won this national competition before. I'm proud to announce that our Sussex County team successfully defended their national title and finished first again. As I mentioned, this event was held in California, and prior to this victory, our victory, no non-California team had ever secured a national title when the event was hosted on the West Coast, making this win truly historic. And the last of the statistics, but easily the most important, are these. Year to date, our guards have performed 505 water rescues. That is more than all of last year. 813 first aid assistances, tough one to say, 2,228 preventative actions and education, 8 ambulance emergencies, 32 lieutenant emergencies, and maybe most important of all, found 82 lost children and returned a couple of them to their parents. The rest refused. I want to bring one more important item to your attention, and it is on the handout, as well as those stats that I just gave, and a few more stats with the individual people that competed in California. But the lifeguards have created a webpage, and it's up at the bottom of the slide, that is full of current information about our beach. The address is www.safebeachday.com/Bethany-Beach. This webpage provides real-time information about beach conditions, air and water temperature, wind speed, tides, and a lot more. It's a great site to check out before you head to the beach. Finally, I would like to read what Captain Donnelly wrote to me. Quote, "On behalf of the Bethany Beach Patrol, I would like to thank the town for their support throughout the summer, helping us provide the best service that we can to our residents and visitors each year." That was very nice, Joe, and much appreciated. But more accurately, it's we. The town, the residents, and our visitors that thank you, your officers, and all the outstanding men and women that guard our beach every day and provide us the safety that you do. When we cross over the dunes, these guards are our first responders. We are extremely fortunate to have this talented, highly trained, and dedicated group serving us as we all enjoy our beautiful beach. Let's give them a well-deserved round of applause. And now I'd like to ask Captain Joe Donnelly and one of his sons, Jackson, to come up to the podium for a very special announcement.
Thank you. Mr. Shepley, thank you very much for those kind words. And Mayor Califf, council members, Cliff Gravier, and folks here in attendance, I appreciate the opportunity to speak today. Any chance I can get to brag about our unbelievable lifeguard staff, I'm going to jump at that chance. I'm so proud of how dedicated they are. I'm so proud of how hard they work and how important it is to them that they do a great job every day. They're out there in the trenches, and they're what Bethany Beach is all about. That dedication, that hard work, that family atmosphere, and they do a fantastic job. But what I'd like to really do today is introduce to you our lifeguard of the year, Mr. Jackson Donnelly. Happens to be my son. So I think it's kind of important to point out that our lifeguards vote for the lifeguard of the year. So if you think about it, when you're out there working every day alongside of these great lifeguards, they go through a voting process to select our lifeguard of the year, and they take it very, very seriously. And to be selected as lifeguard of the year by your peers, the ones that you're out there, sort of in the trenches with every single day, is a pretty special thing. Jackson has been a part of the Bethany Beach Patrol, serving as a lifeguard for his now 7th year. He just graduated from the University of Delaware with a degree in statistics, and he'll be going one more year beginning next week to earn his master's degree. So he's got some big things ahead of him. But Jackson really encompasses what I value in what our guards are all about, and that's dedication, the amount of effort they put forth each and every day in their preparation, in their training, not even just the 3 months or 4 months that they might be here in the summertime, but all through the winter. A lot of them really put 4 or 5 days work worth of conditioning in to be prepared for the summer. It's not just for them, it's not just a 3-month job. It's on their mind probably 12 months of the year. So his dedication, the precision with which he acts when it comes to water rescues, emergencies, or responding to anybody that needs help. We have a saying, never pass up an opportunity to help somebody. And Jackson does that every single day. His work ethic, his desire to be the very best that he can be. He has ascended into one of our most talented lifeguards, and it goes without saying, but he has more than met my expectations over the last couple of years. And if you think about it, being the captain's son, that may not be always the easiest thing to do, but he has understood, he's had the maturity and the understanding that he's going to have to be out there and doing it, better than most with his effort, with his execution and everything that he's about. And he's handled that beautifully through the years. And like I said, ascending himself to one of our top guards. He's involved with our junior lifeguard program that serves approximately 90 kids through the course of the summer in our variety of programs that we offer. He's competed at the local level as well as the regional level. So he's, like many of our guards, all in for everything that he's done. And like I said, I'm super proud of him. He's exceeded my expectations. And I think he's just scratching the surface and where he might go from here down the road. So thank you very much for the opportunity to speak today. Congratulations, Jackson.
He's gonna go along and shake everybody's hand.
It's gonna go.
He's gonna make the round.
Might as well.
Thank you so much.
We're shaking the wrong person.
Yeah, really.
I think they have to go back on duty now.
Yes, they do.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Jackson. Before the summer ends, I have to put in a little plug for, that's a hard act to follow, but we're going to move into another one here, another important one. Before the summer ends, I'm going to put in a plug for the Bethany Farmers Market, which has just 3 more markets left in its 19th season. It has been a great summer with 13 vendors working numerous local and bringing numerous local and produce-only farm fresh produce and seafood products to our customers. Our vendors are hardworking, dedicated group of entrepreneurs, and I want to thank them. I want to thank them as well as many local and visiting customers who make the market the true success that it has been. Our market is a 501c nonprofit which works closely with the town, and we thank the town for its continued support. Thank you to the market board, which works all year round preparing, to our regular and seasonal police, as well as our many volunteers, most of whom are Women's Club, and we'll be talking about the Women's Club a little later, who help every week. I'd like to ask those on the market board who are present just to stand and be recognized. Our longtime leader and mentor, who's been doing this for, I don't know whether it's for 19 years, but it's been close to that. Please stand up if you could. Doug Mowry. Our President Emeritus. Ray Tilch is our President. As well as a market manager. Jen Carter is our publicist, photographer, and web guru. Jerry Morris is a board member, right here. And Larry Fischel, who is a board member as well. Those who couldn't be here today are Henry Bennett. You probably all know Henry and Bennett's Peaches. He's a board member and our vendor representative on the board. Nancy Sager is our treasurer and market manager, and Carolyn Corrigan is our volunteers coordinator. I also serve as a market manager and I'm on the board. Thank you all. This year, working with Mariners Bethel and their Feed My Sheep food bank program, our market and vendors have contributed substantially to local food banks, a great, great, great program just initiated this year. If you have not been to the market yet, please come by. Our last 2025 market is Labor Day weekend. Thank you. Rich, I'm going to turn it over to you for our state and federal legislative report.
Thank you, Ms. Mayor. I'm going to put my mouth close to the microphone so I can be heard. I've never been told that anyone wanted to hear me as a lawyer before, but this is a first for me. I want to give an update in 3 different areas, not necessarily legislative, but just things that are affecting or might affect us here in Bethany Beach. The first is the activities of the Land Use Reform Working Group, which was set up by the Sussex County County Commission, County Council, to work on development of a series of recommendations for land use concerns. They're supposed to be talking about the byplay of development to housing affordability, services, road conditions, and chiefly, I think anyway, environmental issues. Very important issues, not just for the county, but also I think how the county, what happens on the county might affect us in town. So it's certainly worth looking towards what they're doing. They were supposed to, this is a group of 10 people. supposedly in several walks of life that affect those issues around the area. They've been meeting since March of 2025, so just fairly recently. They were scheduled to come up with a series of recommendations, I'm told there are 19 of them, and have it to the county council by the end of this month, August. They're not going to make that. There's been a little bit more, it's probably not too surprising, there's been a fair amount of contention among the group as to what's adequate, what's not adequate, what they need. They've asked for at least another month to get this done. I'm told that that may not even be enough, but it's worth keeping up. There's 19 recommendations, and they're really having a hard time getting to some sort of a finish line, but that finish line might affect us, so it's worth us keeping an eye on that. The second thing I wanted to talk about was the special session that happened in Dover, the state legislature this last week, August 12th. Chiefly, it's, I think, fairly rare. I'm sort of new to living here year-round, but I think it's fairly rare that special sessions happen here in Delaware. And the reason for it happening was the rules on the assessments. The court ordered assessments, kind of put a monkey wrench in terms of amounts of property taxes that people were paying throughout the tax, apparently chiefly in Newcastle County. The Newcastle County effects were apparently just off the charts in terms of the impact there. So they decided they better have a special session to decide how they're going to fix this, or even whether, I guess, they can fix this. They were together, they called a special session, but they did it all, I guess, in one day, which is a special session. They passed 6 bills and 1 resolution, but the ones that I wanted to focus on are 2 that primarily came out of this. One is, at least in Newcastle County, and I believe, I'm not 100% certain, but I think they wrote it to say that this only happens in Newcastle County, that you're given more than a year to pay off this year's tax bill. The tax year bills, not surprisingly, I guess, in this state, the property values in Newcastle County went way up than the other parts of the state. So they gave people in Newcastle County an additional year to pay their property taxes without running afoul of the laws and maybe having sheriff sales in your houses and all the bad things that can happen if you don't pay your property taxes. So they've given them an extended year. That's only a one-time fix. They say they'll come back. I guess they're back in session in January. They say they will come back in January to try to fix this. The other thing they did is they gave school districts, again, I think, it's hard, sometimes they don't write the laws as clearly as they should, I think, but I also think this is also Newcastle County only, but they're trying to do this all over the state, and probably will do this all over the state next year. The school districts are allowed to set different rates in Newcastle County anyway, between commercially owned property and privately owned property, in the notion that they can shouldn't say hit, they can get more property taxes out of commercially owned properties than they can residential owned property as a form of relief for people who are residents. And again, this is Newcastle County only. They, I think, tried to pass a similar law that would apply to the whole state in one-day session. That's not a lot of time to do these things. They weren't able to do that, or they didn't do that, and so my guess is they'll come back in the beginning of next year and try to do something similar all across the state, which I think makes sense. And then the third thing that I wanted to touch on briefly is the windmill project. At least some of you might have heard about this windmill project that's been kind of getting the news a lot lately. The Trump administration has announced that they want to withdraw the permits that were issued to U.S. Wind that were issued by the Department of Interior. But as always the case, it's not as easy as that. There's a court case going on, and I think it's the case that was filed by the Ocean City people that were challenging the issuance of the permits. The Trump administration has come back and say, well, we shouldn't have done that, so we want to remand that, but the court has to approve it. The way this works is you can't just say you're going to change your mind. You have to go to the court, and you have to get the court to agree to let you change your mind. They'll bring it back to the Department of Interior, and if that happens, it's pretty clear the Department of Interior is going to yank those permits. So the court is now deciding whether to remand this back to the Department of Interior. So it's very possible, I think, that in the next weeks or so, this may be basically over, that the Department of Interior get it back in their hands, and it's pretty clear what they'll do if they get it back in their hands. So that might have been just a short-lived excitement of what might happen, or excitement positive or negative, but we may be seeing a turn that's a permanent turn to no, or at least through the rest of this administration. So, and that's all I have.
Thank you, Rich. I'm going to move into public comment now. Do we have anybody who wishes to say something?
Somebody's coming up.
Okay. Barry, please come up to the... That's the first item of new business.
New business.
So as everybody knows, I got a big mouth. Larry Fischel, 97D Captain's Walk. These are two good things. Last week I witnessed 5 saves on the boardwalk, on the beach for the lifeguards, and it was just like clockwork and like a movie. And they were a well-oiled machine. And 2 lifeguards would jump off a stand, and then another one took their place within seconds. So it was brilliantly done and was impressive for everybody, to the point where they got an applause after one of them from the people on the beach. But the bigger reason I'm up here is for Doug Mowry. It's been my pleasure to serve on the Farmers Market Board for 4 eons. And Doug held it together through the pandemic. When people did not always get along, Doug held it together. Doug was always the voice of calmness, reason, and stability. So I am incredibly happy that Doug is here, and Doug deserves an incredible amount of credit for the farmers market what it is today.
Thank you, Mr. Fischel.
Dr. Bishop, he said.
Jen Carter, 429 Collins. I want to second that. And just, it's incredible what Doug did and still comes by the market. I mean, you all need to understand that Ron as well and the other, and Ray and the other market managers, well, it sounds like a great title, they work their off because they're there first thing in the morning before the vendors even get there, help the vendors get to their spaces. If there's any issue, it's resolving those issues. And then the mayor does all these other things as well. I mean, it's amazing to me, the amount of energy and commitment, and Doug, over the years, the commitment to the farmers market and to the town is just amazing. So thank you. The other thing is Tracy Mulligan. I want everybody to hear that. Was also one of the people to get the board back together again in 2014, I think it was, and get us all on board, literally, and make it all happen. And then for all these years. So thank you so much again. More applause. Come on.
Thank you, Jen Carter. Anybody else? Okay, we're going to move on to reports now. Report from the Audit Committee, Mr. Myers.
Good afternoon. As chair of the Audit Committee, I'd like to summarize the committee's oversight of the external audit process for the fiscal year ended 3/31/25. Our remarks focus on the integrity of the financial reporting, internal controls, and overall effectiveness of the audit process. The scope of the oversight. The committee met multiple times with both management and the external auditors to review the audit plan and areas of focus, significant accounting policies and estimates, compliance with applicable accounting and regulatory standards, and internal control environment, and any identified deficiencies. As far as the audit opinion is concerned and key results, the external auditor, UHY, issued an unmodified opinion on the financial statements. This is the auditor's formal statement that the financial statements are fairly presented. No material adjustments or misstatements were reported. One audit finding was noted in the audit report. In the review of internal controls, a significant deficiency was noted in the area of separation of duties, specifically in the processing of journal vouchers. Details can be found on page 77 of the audit report, as well as on page 6 of the accompanying audit communication letter, which goes along with the audit report. I know those are kind of terms that you may not be familiar with, but basically, if there's any questions, our town manager is prepared to answer those questions, but I would recommend you taking a look at those pages to get the full impact of what we're talking about here. Bottom line, our assessment of the audit quality. The committee is satisfied that the audit was conducted independently, professionally, and in accordance with auditing standards generally accepted in the United States and the standards applicable to financial audits contained in generally accepted government auditing standards. All questions raised by the committee were addressed fully by management and the auditors during our meetings. Management has responded appropriately to recommendations for strengthening its internal controls as noted in the audit report. As far as next steps, follow-up actions, the internal auditors plan to review actions taken by management to enhance their internal controls during the next annual audit and reevaluate the need for this, quotes, finding to be documented in the future. Based on the results presented, the audit committee believes that the financial statements fairly represent the town's financial position in all material respects, as audited under the applicable standards. We thank management and UHY external auditors for their cooperation and professionalism during this year's audit process. The financial statements are available on the town's website. Interested parties are encouraged to read the management's discussion and analysis portion of the statements to enhance their understanding of the town's finances. That's all I have for the audit report. But then on a separate note of business, the committee accepted the resignation of Thomas Henry from the audit committee, and we wanted to thank him for his service to the community. And that concludes my report. Any questions?
Thank you, Frank.
Okay.
Report from the town manager, Mr. Gravier.
Mayor, council, first I should say that we do suspend parking enforcement here on Garfield Parkway and in the parking lot across the street and in the parking lot by the Blue Crab. But if any of you receive a parking ticket, please bring it back in and give it to the person at the reception desk and we'll take care of it. But we try to suspend enforcement, but sometimes we do have a mistake here and there. Mr. Myers mentioned in his review of the auditor's review of the internal controls, a significant deficiency was noted in the area of separation of duties, specifically in the processing of journal vouchers. Journal vouchers are the recording of things like bank fees, interest earnings, and transfers between accounts. And the standard says that a person that creates the voucher should not be the same person that reviews the voucher. This has been a standing standard for some time, but it is now newly being enforced on municipal governments and state and county governments also. The standard is going to cause significant problems for many, many jurisdictions here certainly on the Delmarva, where staff only consist of maybe a town manager, town clerk, maybe a fiscal officer, where the standard requires separation of duties and multiple reviews of journal vouchers. To deal with this new standard, newly applied standard, going forward for our journal vouchers, we are going to have 3 separate sign-offs on each voucher. So it'll be reviewed by 3 separate people, so we'll have the redundancy we need to come into compliance. This is an area of deficiency that will stay open and stays open from the auditor's perspective until next year when he reviews whether or not we have come into compliance, but we're confident with what we have done, we will be in compliance. So that is our explanation of the finding, and it was a significant deficiency and not a material finding, so it's sort of down there in the list of problems we might have, but it is an issue we're dealing with. The Loop Canal Dam, for a significant amount of time, specifically the last, almost the last year, that the last governor's administration and the secretary of his cabinet in the Department of Natural Resources were in their seats, we had some real issues with trying to move our dam project forward. And one of the things that was focused on by the people in the Department of Natural Resources were restrictions on deeds that the state of Delaware had received from both the National Park Service and the Army Corps of Engineers, transferring the property of the Assawoman Canal and its banks to the state of Delaware. Those restrictions from DENREC's perspective made it seem as neither Parks or the Corps could allow us to move forward because of those restrictions. We're in the process of reviewing them, and our engineers are preparing letters for both the National Park Service and the Army Corps to create a specific point and justifications for creating exceptions to these deed restrictions. And we're confident, we do believe we now have DENREC support in this, and we're confident and hopeful that this moves forward here sometime in the near future. The flooding issues, we've had a good number of issues this year, mainly concerning inundating rains. We've sort of out of that cycle with the thunderstorms, but we've had some significant issues, and that brought to fore one of the problems that we have with drainage and flooding, specifically in Bethany West. Most of our flooding issues and drainage problems are related to tidal waters in the Loop Canal, pushback from the tidal water into the community, or a high level of water in the Loop Canal that does not allow our stormwater to drain effectively or efficiently. With the dam in the works, we're not really focusing a lot on creating significant new projects that take water to the Loop Canal. We're waiting to see what the impact of the dam is going to be on those problems. But we are taking a step back and looking at the other two areas where we actually take drainage water, stormwater to, and that's the Assawoman and a channel that exists between Sea Colony and the town of Bethany Beach. The channel between Sea Colony and Bethany Beach is significant. It's almost a canal in and of itself, and where it reaches the Assawoman Canal, you could hide a car in it. It's that deep and that broad and that wide. That's been problematic. It generally flows, but right now we're in the process of cleaning it out. We've brought in an outside contractor in. He has started at the most shallow end, the east end, and he's working towards the west. He's reached the midpoint in this small canal, and now his work is really cut out for him because the canal banks are 15 to 20 feet high, and the water at the bottom of the ditch is probably 3 or 4 feet high. It's a lot of sediment, a lot of trees, but he's working to get through that. In conjunction with that, we've also asked our engineer to apply for a matching grant of $50,000 to develop a specific plan to increase the efficiency of our drainage for the westernmost portion of Bethany West that brings water to that ditch. That's being created right now by our engineer. We hope to be successful with that. We understand there's not a lot of general interest in municipal governments around the state, and he's hopeful that we'll receive those dollars. We have talked before about the Bethany Life app that Julie Molesky worked very hard over the last couple of years to help create. And this month in Delaware Beach Life magazine, there's a feature article about our Bethany Life app. We're trying to grow. We're trying to get people interested in it. It has a great number of interesting factoids about Bethany, a reference list of restaurants and things to do, our entertainment schedule, and a host of other things. We're also going to add an emergency preparedness component to that also. So if you haven't found it or looked at it, it's if you just go to Bethany Life app on your phone or your apps, and it comes up, and it's pretty informative as it relates to Bethany Beach, pardon me. The water department, over the years, we generally have a good number of people that remind us that the water towers need to be cleaned. And this year, I'm happy to say that we're ahead of the game, and probably early this fall, we'll be cleaning the water towers. The police department has recently lost one of its seasonal officers, someone who's been with us seasonally for 7 years, and that's Landon Sini. And I'm pleased to be able to tell you that Landon has gone off to join the Secret Service. And he's very happy with that, and we're glad for him. He's been quite an officer here with us over the years. And Mayor, that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Gravier.
Mayor, can I just add one comment? We were talking about the water situation to Cliff's comments, and I just wanted to thank Cliff, Brett, and the whole team for the receptivity, the collaboration of working with the situation. You know, as we know, Bethany West has been around a long time. It was probably not designed ideally in terms of water flow. I think that's a safe statement.
I think that's an understatement.
Yeah, but I just want to share my appreciation for Cliff and Brett for just working with the residents and just trying to be collaborative and think what we can do short-term and long-term. So thank you very much, and Brett, for that.
Thank you, Mickey. And one thing, and you and I have talked about this, spoken about this a number of times, is it's sort of counterintuitive, but the majority of Bethany West, its drainage water, its storm water, flows across 26 into the Loop Canal. So the area we're talking about is essentially a fairly small area. It's, again, closer to Sea Colony in the southeast corner of Bethany West. But it's been problematic for a number of years, most especially because there are a number of very mature trees and swales, and any solutions we're afraid are going to create or impact those trees. So we'll see what this plan brings forward. But thank you again, Mick.
Thank you.
Well, drainage is always a big issue in town. You know, we're 85% in the floodplain, and we are about the flattest town around. So our drainage is slow, and sometimes we just have to be a little bit patient and let it do its job. But it's a difficult situation here. We work with it. The town works with it incredibly hard. Brett does an unbelievable job. Thank you,
Mayor.
Cliff. Before we go into new business, I'd like to state that there will be an opportunity for the public to address questions on agenda items after the initial council discussion and before any council vote. First item on new business, discussion, consideration, and possible vote on a resolution honoring the 100th anniversary of the Bethany Beach Women's Civic Club.
I was supposed to say that.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
100 years. Sorry about that. 100 years. That's incredible. The town itself is not that much older, and over the years, there has been so many efforts by the Women's Club to improve and support the efforts of Bethany Beach, including the Martha Jean Addy Garden just outside in the median, where a commemorative plaque will be mounted this fall. I'd like to recognize, and please stand if you would, several members of the Women's Club who are here present today. Club President Helen Pastis. Past President and Historian Suzanne Evans. Is she here? Okay. Lois Rubinson, Vice President. Kathy Tarpley, Treasurer. Dorothy Worthington, Secretary. She's not here? Okay. Mary Frances Berger, Photographer. Okay, thank you. The town has prepared a resolution in recognition of this milestone. I'd like to read the resolution now, if I could. This is a resolution honoring the Women's Civic Club of Bethany Beach, Town of Bethany Beach, Sussex County, resolution number 2025-2. Whereas the Women's Civic Club of Bethany Beach was officially organized on August 3rd, 2025 by a visionary group of 18 women committed to the betterment of their growing coastal community, and whereas the founding purpose of the club and continues to be to carry out the civic improvements of Bethany Beach, a mission that has enriched the town for a century. And whereas the club Club's first contributions to the town included the donation of 3 benches and garbage cans for the boardwalk, demonstrating their immediate and practical impact on the public spaces. And whereas the Women's Civic Club has further community safety and recreation by providing uniforms and equipment for the town's lifeguards, supporting those who protect our residents and visitors along our beaches. And whereas, beginning in the 1970s, the club initiated and has continually supported the beautification of Garfield Parkway, offering annual donations that have helped make it a welcoming and vibrant centerpiece for Bethany Beach. And whereas, for 100 years, the Women's Civic Club has exemplified a legacy of service, generosity, and civic pride that reflects the very spirit of Bethany Beach. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the members of the Bethany Beach Town Council, do hereby proclaim deep appreciation and recognition to the Women's Civic Club of Bethany Beach and its remarkable and lasting contributions to the community since 1925. So, Council, do we have a motion to accept that resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
Well-deserved.
Well deserved.
Well deserved. Those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Helen, did you want to get up and say a few words?
Mayor Califf, Town Council members, I am deeply, deeply honored to receive this resolution on behalf of the Women's Civic Club of Bethany Beach on our centennial year, celebrating 100 years of service. We have a special relationship. It started in 1925, and we plan to continue the special relationship. We have grown to 250 members. And as I like to say, we like to get together, have fun, and do good. And on your presentation today, the first project that those 18 very visionary women had was to provide bathing suits for the lifeguards. And after you had that photo up, I'm going to make the proposition we supply bathing suits next year so I could be photographed with all those lifeguards. So expect that, board. Taking inflation into account over 100 years, the club has donated about $1 million. We've expanded beyond Bethany Beach, and we also support different organizations and charities in Sussex County, such as sex trafficking, families dealing with childhood cancer, and other, the Bethany Beach Fire Department and Ambulance Service, many, many organizations. And what's remarkable about that amount is that it's all through the generosity of our members, because our bylaws do not allow outside fundraising. So in going forth, I plan to continue the good work that the club has done, get a website so the community may know who we are and what we do. And again, thank you very much for the recognition. It's deeply appreciated by the Women's Civic Club of Bethany Beach. And I'll see you again in 100 years to celebrate. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Helen. Okay, next item on the agenda, discussion, consideration, and possible vote. This is not as exciting as everything's been up to this point. Of a possible vote to purchase, for the purchase and installation of light poles at the northwest corner of State Route 1 and State Route 26 by Chris Contracting in the amount of $41,615. Mr. Gravier.
Mayor, Council, as you're aware, we have a project underway, significantly underway, to redesign the intersection here at 1 and 26 and create a crosswalk at the northern side of the intersection, and then also to continue the sidewalk where it ends on 26 and bring the sidewalk here to the northwest corner also. In order to move that project ahead, we are contracting with Chris Contracting. You have a proposal from them with your packet for the amount of $41,615 to install 2 new lights to replace the wooden poles that are at the intersection. These will be lights that are similar in design to the ones that are in our median. Chris Contracting was the same company that installed them. Chris Contracting is one of DelDOT's approved contractors. That's why this is a sole source. That'll be the bases, the lights, and all the wiring, which will require some undergrounding from the median to that corner. So contract for $41,615 for 2 lights. These dollars for this project are in this year's budget.
Thank you, Mr. Gravier. Do we have a motion to accept?
So moved.
A second? Any discussion, council? Any discussion from the audience? Needed. Those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next item of business, discussion and consideration for possible vote on canceling September 19th, 2025 regular town council meeting. Mayor?
In that we have a reorganization meeting scheduled for Monday of that same week, September the 15th, 2025, it is custom that we cancel the regular September meeting. If anything critical comes up in the meantime, we will schedule a special meeting and address those items. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second? Second. Any discussion? Those in favor? Aye. Thank you very much.
Mayor, may I? If you want to return to the item G, which is the approval of the tax list, that is tax list 2.
Yeah?
If you want to just jump back and ask it, that is tax list 2.
Okay.
Okay. Then do we need to? We need to vote? We can vote on it now here?
Sure.
Okay. Okay, those in favor of accepting that tax list?
Aye.
I guess I didn't say do we have a motion, but
Are you going to explain what it is?
would you explain what it is?
So on a quarterly basis, we have the town's appraiser come through and make adjustments to the values of the homes based on permits that have been issued. And I think it's helpful to have this approved now. I believe the tax bills will be going out shortly. So the tax bills can reflect these new amounts.
Okay, thank you. I believe the town tax list bills have already gone out, have they not? They've already gone out. I think I've already,
Oh, they have, okay.
Tax bills are
All right,
going
mine
out.
goes to the mortgage company, so I don't see it.
okay.
That explains a lot.
Okay, before we adjourn, Mr. Shepley, I'm going to ask you.
Thank
to
you,
come
Mayor. Another speech?
Well, possibly, but I think a few others are going to have a few things to say to you. Would you join me over at the podium? For those who are unaware, this is Patrick's last meeting as a council member, unfortunately. He has chosen not to run this year. After 8 years of service to Bethany Beach Town Council, he has served on numerous committees and commissions, many as chairman. He is currently the council representative on the Planning and Zoning Commission. He is chairman of the Non-Residential Design Review Committee and a valuable member of the Budget Finance Committee, and his favorite, the 4th of July Committee. He has been a critical member of council since joining and personally a mentor to myself, as well as most of our newer members on the council. I've had to reach out to him numerous times for advice, and especially this past year. Thank you, Patrick. You will be missed. However, and thankfully, I have it on good authority that Patrick will remain on several committees and very active with the town. Patrick, I want to present you with the traditional council going away plaque. Most of you have probably seen that. This is great. It's a doctor addressing his patient. Your heart won't tolerate any more of this town hall meeting. And I know this might have some special meaning to you.
Yes, yes. I think my pacemaker's going off right now.
Okay.
Thank you.
I know the fellow council members want to say a few words, and I'm going to turn it over to Jerry for,
Oh, no.
yep.
He knows all the skeletons.
Make sure that thing's working. Patrick, you've been a great asset to the council and the town. Over the past 8 years, there have been many long, long discussions, lots of workshops, executive meetings on topics way too complex and so forth to mention, lots of them. You've been an integral part of the town council, working to keep Bethany this special town we have. We've been progressing, but yet not losing the small town atmosphere. Working with you has been a pleasure. I would like to reminisce just a little bit. It's been 8 years since the day in front of the post office when Joe Healy, soul rest his soul, you and I were campaigning, shaking hands, kissing babies, and you got your first indication of the people that you're going to be working with. A man came up to us and said, "Where do you live, and what are you going to do for the town?" So Joe Healy says, "I'm a resident, and I live in Turtle Walk, and I work on the finances of the town and trying to keep it financially sound." He came to me, and I said, "I live in the canal, and I'm a resident, and I'm on several committees," and so forth, and explained what I did. Then unfortunately, your first response was, "I'm running for the non-resident spot." At that point, you never got another word to say. This man basically said, "I'll never vote for you. You don't have any skin in the game." And that became a driving force for the past 8 years for you.
I haven't forgotten it.
You make every effort to make a non-resident as powerful, as inclusive, to make sure that the town runs soundly. On many, many occasions, when we would have special meetings and Patrick wasn't in town, he would make the effort to drive from Bethesda here to stay for the meeting and then drive all the way home again. Great, great effort. I've been proud to work with you, and I wish you well in your future. That being said, recently something has come concerning your character. As you know, I have a relative in the Homeland Security Department for the state of Delaware. The Department of Justice, they called me and were talking, and they said, as they were reviewing the Epstein files, and everybody knows what the Epstein files are, your name appeared on a couple occasions. And I said, "No, this is Patrick Shepley. He lives in Bethany Beach. That's the one we're talking about." And I said, "That can't be. That just can't be. Patrick he's not like that." So they said, "Well, we apologize, but we have a video showing you exactly about this. I'd like you to explain this, but first we'll watch the video." Can you put the video up?
You notice I don't know what to do with my hands. And it gets worse. This guy knows. Boa feathers.
Ah, now you got your hand there. Can you explain yourself for that?
Karen, I promise, I was working. It was town business.
Pat, I'm gonna miss you. You're not only a councilman, you're a friend. a deep
You are.
friend.
You are a great friend.
And Epstein thanks you too.
Pretty sure they were over 21.
We're all going to miss you, Patrick.
Thanks, Ron.
Does anybody else want to say any few words?
Yeah,
I
Patrick.
know you can't top that one, though.
No, I'm not going to try to top that one. I just wanted to, there's a couple things that really jump out at you, Patrick, and you talk about mentoring newer members, and it certainly fell into that. But there are a couple things that really jump out at me. One is your humor. You're really a fun guy to be around. Even when we were talking about some really tough things, you can find a way to lighten it up a little bit in a positive way. The thing that I really think that as I was reflecting on it, you ask great questions. We've been in a lot of meetings together over the years, whether they're in executive session, whether they're in public forum, whether they're just walking on the boardwalk, and we're talking about a topic, and you ask really good, thoughtful questions that I always really appreciated, that take me to a different place in terms of how I think about something. So I want to thank you for that. And the other thing is your passion and your commitment to the town. And just, you know, it happened this day when you were commending the lifeguards. You could tell that passion. You literally broke up a little bit because you care so much about it. And we've all been the beneficiaries of that. So it's been an honor and pleasure to serve with you, Patrick. So thank you.
Thank you.
You need to say something.
Who does? I do?
You're talking about Patrick. Does anybody else want to say anything?
No, I just want to reiterate, I mean, you took humor, but I mean, the one thing, I'm a newbie, your ability just to cut through things with your humor has made it a lot of fun, number one. Number two, I just want to thank you for, you know, the legacy of past council members, but you embodied it as well, of keeping this place a sound and and as great as it is. And I thank you for all your advice coming on for the first year here. And I look forward to you sitting in the audience and dropping your pearls of wisdom.
Everything's been said, but I just want to express some relief that our meetings are now going to be shorter after.
Thank you. Okay. And thank you, Patrick.
Thanks, Ron.
Do you want to say anything, or?
See what I mean?
He never misses the
It's going
opportunity.
to be short, I promise. I just want to thank you all. This has been a highlight of my professional career. I've worked with great people. The town has, and that's not just the council. The town employees, I have learned over the last 8 years how great the town's employees are. Anything you ask for them, they will do it. They will get you the information you need. You know who you are. I appreciate you very much. But the big thank you, Karen, my wife, who in 2 weeks, I couldn't have done it without you. 2 weeks from now, we'll be celebrating our 56th wedding anniversary. We're pretty proud of that. I still like to refer to her as my first wife. And it's true. The last thing I want to say is a thought that I've had probably since I joined or shortly after I joined the council is when I grow up, I want to be like Cliff. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Can
you
I
for
take this?
everything. Yes, you can, absolutely.
Now let these people get out here.
Oh. Yep, thank you, Jen. That concludes our meeting today. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
We're done.
Thank you all.